chiediamo pregunta.
How many of you guys have heard the story before? Okay, cool.
In Spain,
In Spain, not too many.
In Spain, it's a story, but I think you should tell it. I think
Yeah.
people would love to hear it.
Okay. I just want to get a sense. So I started the site from my college dorm, right? And I mean, the original version of the site was incredibly simple. So there were kind of two starting points that I'd say. The first was that my friends and I always used to sit around. I studied computer science and psychology, but the computer science part of my friends, we used to just like sit around a lot, talking about things that could be made and like different cool things that we thought could exist, and just how cool it would be if like everyone around the world was using a platform to share information, and therefore the world was just more open and people could understand what was going on with different people because of that. So that was kind of one thing. At the same time, we never thought that we would be a part of building anything like that. So what I actually built was just a very small and simple application for people to share information, just put a little bit of information up for one school, Harvard, right? And I literally just like wrote it in a couple of weeks. A couple of my friends, I told them about it, they invited their friends, and within a couple of weeks, something like 2/3 or 3/4 of Harvard students were on the site. And so it was pretty crazy, right? So then people from other schools started writing in and asking us to launch it at their schools as well. So at that point, I kind of got my roommates together, who some of them also studied computer science. I was like, all right, let's work on this. Let's work on trying to spread this to other schools. So we took the rest of the school year and spread it to about 30 more schools. Right? And in each school, it took off very quickly. And in some, it took like half the school signed up in one night. Right? And some took a little bit longer. But it was just like, but in general, it was like working. It was going really quickly. And then for the summer, we decided to move out to Palo Alto. And Palo Alto's in Silicon Valley, which is like, you know, this mythical place where all the technology companies come from. And I just figured, oh, how cool would it be to be out there for a summer, just to be around some of these companies, the great companies that are getting built. And the idea wasn't to actually move out. I fully thought that we were going to go back to school at the end of the summer. But over the summer, we got another 100 schools or so ready to launch. We set up a data center out there so that we can deal with a large amount of traffic. And I mean, my last term at school was like really hard, right? Because I was building Facebook. I was also taking like the advanced algorithms class and the operating systems class, so like building a little kernel and like and just like pretty, it was pretty intense to do that and build Facebook at the same time. So we just figured, with more than 100 schools on Facebook, and probably like about 1 million people at that time would be that number of schools. I just figured it would be really hard to do that and be in school at the same time. So we just decided to take a term off from school. And that's like how it got started, basically. I mean, there was actually never a point when we were like, all right, we're gonna like decide to drop out. It just kind of, we took a term off, and then it kept on growing, and we took another term off, and then we raised some money, and we took a year off, and then by that point it's like we had like 15 million users. It's like, all right, I guess we're not going back. But like, so in my last semester at Harvard, Bill Gates came and spoke to one of my computer science classes, and this is like a story that I like to tell. Because someone asked him like what advice he had, and his advice was that people should take time off from school. And his rationale for this was that Harvard has this great policy where you can take as much time off from school as you want, and then you can go back. And he ended with, if Microsoft ever falls through, I'm going back to Harvard. So, Microsoft did okay. But that was basically, I mean, there was really never a point where I was like, I'm going to drop out to do this. I mean, if like we had to drop out, that would have been a really hard decision to make. My parents were like not that psyched about it. But yeah, basically just little by little, it just kept on growing. And I mean, I think that's actually a really, it's a pretty normal story, right? Because I think normally, and people like to portray these things as like, you have an idea, and then immediately it's like, it grows and it's huge. And I just don't think that that's the reality with most things. With Facebook, it started off very simple, and we just worked really hard. And it was like a lot of people who were like really passionate about helping people share more information and building something and just like coming to work and really kicking ass for like 4 years, and then by the end it's like, okay, now we have 100 million users. We can look back and it's like awesome. But it was just, I mean, that's really the story. It was like a lot of work and a lot of focus along the way.